In today's episode, we will work on this project, and boy, will we face some challenges. Well, you already know the answer. In case you want to start a decal business from home, we're going to share very important information so you can get started right now. Although we always show this step, but I want to make sure that we show it too. In case you haven't seen other videos, I'm going to place the roll. This used to be a 10-yard roll. It's getting smaller and smaller. I'm pulling some of the vinyl to the front just to make sure that it is aligned. Just pay attention to how much the vinyl moves. And if it moves a lot, that means you will need to realign it, but it didn't move that much, so we got it on the first try, so that's good. Now we are ready to send our first layer or start cutting our first layer. See how much the vinyl is moving to the front, to the back, and this is exactly the reason why we always keep talking about aligning your vinyl. Let's go over the equipment and materials we'll be using for today's project. The vinyl cutter we have here is the RapidTAC CE 6060. This one is a 24-inch vinyl cutter, but down here we have the Silhouette Cameo 4. This is a 12-inch vinyl cutter. We have so many videos about this very affordable vinyl cutter if you do not have money to invest in a RapidTAC. The type of vinyl we'll be using today is the Oracle 651. The type of transfer is the Art Tape Clear Choice AT75.1, and a lot of different small tools like the cutting knife, RapidTAC, all kinds of different tools that you can get through our website, that is www.rdidecals.com. And of course, we're gonna need lots and lots of coffee. This is the software that we use to make our design. It is a vector software, which is CorelDRAW X6. This is an old version. Up here we have a couple more different tools that we always recommend that you guys get. The coloring guides we have for HTV vinyl. You get a sample of each color, all the instructions on what type of garment, temperature, and all the good stuff. And here we have the same for Oracle 651 and 951. You get a little sample of each color available. And this way you make sure that you get the right color that you are looking for. This is why we always recommend that you get your additional tools. We also recommend that you guys get the application tape roller. Not only does it work to apply your transfer on your decals, but you can also use it to cut your vinyl if you own a vinyl cutter, the Cameo 12-inch vinyl cutter. You know, we always talk about working from home, and this is the proof that we are working from home. So excuse us if you hear a little bit of noise, background noises. You know, that's what makes them so special, you know, these type of videos, because there's a proof that you can do it from home. And our vinyl is ready. Now I'm gonna start cutting it from here. I can see the weed box, which always makes it easier to get an idea where you need to cut it from. And we are very low on vinyl, so I'm gonna be really careful. I'm gonna make sure we do not waste more than we need to. If you're liking this video, make sure that you give us a like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Thank you for your support. All right, so I'm gonna cut it from here. Now we're ready to start weeding out, and we got rid of the big weeding box around our design. We had a little issue with our blade not too long ago, and I think we damaged the blade. We may have to replace it. We had a little mishap with our vinyl cutter, so that's why this section is not cutting all the way like the way it's supposed to. Like, it's usually this section. The other layers will be fine. See, you will always face different challenges. I mean, most of them can be fixed if you just take your time. Well, actually, if you're in this kind of business, that's something that you have to learn, to be patient. Like, if you're not familiar with this process, you can see little lines, like little traces where the blade cut the letter, so you can always place it back. This looks much better. We are very pleased. We still need to fix the cutting strip or replace the cutting strip as well as the blade. but we'll get there. We'll get there. Now it's time to start cutting the red color. Before we apply our transfer, something I also want to mention, like this section, we saved it as well as the red, but when we do our estimate, we always consider these little sections that we end up with. So in other words, when we use our decal calculator to do the estimate, we charge for the whole thing because this is going to be a leftover. Naturally, you have to charge for that. And if you want to save it, you can save it. We want to get to the installation as soon as we can because right now the weather is very nice. So it's time to apply our transfer, and we're going to do it manually. We're not going to use our application rollers. In case you are wondering what those are, these are our application rollers. We do not have the perfect size for this decal. We're going to use a 24-inch transfer. We already mentioned what brand, but we're going to have a few, like probably a little bit over 2 inches from each side additional. And I mean, there's not much we can do about that. This is the reason why it makes it so easy when you have extra transfer to the sides. No, it's a little bit of waste. We are ready to apply our vinyl decals. We already applied our transfer on every single one of them. And this is pretty much all the vinyl that we are going to be using today. Now the next step will be to clean the surface. We're going to use RapidTAC, and it does not affect the adhesive of the vinyl. Quite the contrary. These are the reasons why we use RapidTAC. I'm going to start with this section. I'm going to apply some of that RapidTAC. We have some dirt, as you can see here. And if we need to use some of that solution, I forgot the name of that, goof off, we may have to use some of that, but we'll see. It's getting really windy. We have to get moving. We're gonna measure. This is exactly where we're gonna place this first, or the bottom section of the logo. We're gonna use our cutting knife. I think we are gonna have to replace the blade pretty soon. It's not cutting the way it's supposed to, but it's doing its job. Oh yeah, so going back to the tools, we have our little magnets holding or positioning, mounting magnets. As you can see, we're not using any tape at all. So far, we haven't used any. We may have to use it. I mean, I'm just talking about the installation because we did use tape inside. But those magnets have definitely saved a lot of money for us. Yep. And remember that you can get them through our website, and we're going to have it in the description of the video, or you can go straight to www.rdidecals.com. We may end up with just 1 or 2 bubbles. We'll get rid of them using the squeegee, not the squeegee, the weeder. Now, since the paint is a little damaged, I'm gonna apply some of that RapidTAC. I'll just cover the transfer with that. This is after we have applied our vinyl. And I'm gonna let it sit there for a little bit. I'm gonna start removing this from here. This is the bubble I was talking about earlier. See, it's a lot easier. And this is what you can do if you see that the paint is a little damaged. You cannot, if you don't want to risk it, you can always use some of that RapidTAC. And I think it looks great. Now I'm gonna remove or get rid of the bubbles. I'm not gonna worry too much about them because I know that eventually they will disappear once it gets really hot. I worry more about making little holes throughout the decal. That's the only concern I have, honestly. Luis already exposed the registration marks, and we're gonna start with one side, and I'm not gonna pull too hard so he can apply it nicely. Looks good right there. And we're gonna repeat the same steps. Place our magnets over here. You can do a wet and a dry application. It's not a big deal. You can do a combination. We have done it in the past. We had a little challenge on the other side. That's why we want to get it done. The good thing about doing dry application is that you don't have to wait for the RapidTAC to dry out. You can remove the transfer right away. See, and it's making it easier. I mean, you don't want to do this every time unless the paint is damaged. But if the paint is in good shape, you don't want to waste or use too much RapidTAC because it's not free. Or unless you make your homemade solution. Now, the next thing would be to remove the registration marks. And we get a lot of questions about how to do it safely. See, I'm not even touching the surface. Then you just peel it off. And do the same on this side here. We're going to repeat the same steps. This should be a lot easier than the first section since this is only just one color. The only downside is that it's getting a little windy. Make sure that if you decide to get magnets to do exactly what we're doing, make sure that you get enough. Here you can see that we are using about 6 of them. And we're going to start from the center and then we'll go to the bottom. We're going to get rid of half of the backing paper. I'm going to fast forward since we still got to talk about the little issue that we had on the other side with the damaged paint. Very windy. We still got to replace a letter on the other side. The paint is very, very damaged. Every time we work on any vehicle, we take a few minutes to go around and do an inspection. We like to get an idea of what shape the paint or surface is in. This way we'll know what type of transfer to use. This van in particular seemed to be in perfect shape, other than some residue from old stickers someone removed previously. This is why we always recommend that you get low and high TAC transfer for every type of surface. Since we didn't know the paint was in bad shape, we decided to use high TAC transfer. Not until we decided to remove the adhesive from the old stickers was it noticeable that the paint wasn't in the best shape. Due to the weather, we were short on time and had to proceed with installation. Of course, we called our customer and let him know about this issue. Then he told us that the previous owner painted that small section and said it was okay if any of the paint came off. We didn't know how bad that was going to turn out to be. In the end, we told him we could redo that section if he decided to fix it and repaint it. This is probably the 3rd time that this happens to us, so there's no need for you to worry too much about this if you are just getting started in this type of business. I think we're finished with this project. I'm gonna show you this side, the driver's side, which was the easier one. Didn't have any challenge. The paint was in perfect shape, unlike the other side. One of the things that we always ask the customer, like for this one, we had the same position, like the logo on the back window, and the same on the other side. And this is the back. This side was easy too, like the driver's side. And now let's go to the other side, which was a real challenge. This is the passenger side, same. We place the logo on the back side. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe and turn on your notifications. If you want to support us additionally, we have memberships available in our channel. Just go to the join button and you will get more instructions. Make sure to read each subscription as they give you different perks. Thank you for your support.